this video, I'm going to show you how to get started to activate the deep hip stabilizers and lengthen the quad. So what you're going to do first is to stretch the quad out, because that's what gets short whenever the hip and the deep core are not stabilizing the leg well. So there's two ways you can do it. The easiest and the first way I'm going to show you is you take a chair or a stool and you prop your leg up behind it like so. And then as you are standing for your stretch, you want to make sure that you're pulling the thigh in together so that the knees are touching each other. Don't let the knee pop out. So as you're holding the thighs together, you're going to stand up tall and then roll the pelvis forward so that you feel a nice stretch in the front of the hip and in the front of the thigh. And you'll hold that for about 30 seconds to a minute. Make sure you're not letting your ribs pop out. Watch the video about how to activate your core and use the breath to find your core to prevent that from happening. A more advanced way to access the deep hip stabilizers and core, as well as lengthen the quad at the same time, is to do the pretzel stretch. Now only do this if you have enough flexibility in that last stretch you're not really feeling anything. So what you're gonna need is potentially a strap or a belt if you have one, and something to lie down on, either a bed or the floor. Now you're gonna take this strap and you're going to put it around the ankle. Whenever you're laying on your side, it goes around the bottom leg, like so, okay? Laying down on your side, you're going to flex the top hip up so that you'll feel a bit of a stretch in the glute and the side hip. Hold that there, and you're going to bend the knee and pull the leg back of the bottom leg, like so. And then you can also open the chest if you have more room for flexibility there, and just let your head rest and breathe here. Now as you're pulling the knee bent, make sure the shin stays down on the ground and that you're pushing the hips forward, so driving forward through the hip and breathing here. Now after you've done that on both sides for about a minute, you're going to do the clamshell, which activates the deep core of the low back and hip to help stabilize the pelvis and the knee and the whole leg as well too. So you're going to stack your knees and your hips like so. So you don't want the hips to roll backwards. You want to make sure that they stay stacked directly on top of each other. Ankles are going to stay together. You're going to lift your knee up to just about hip height. So don't try to go for height here. You want to just go right to about hip height. Make sure your hips don't rock backwards, or your low back doesn't roll backwards as you do that. You want to make sure everything stays stacked. So you're going to lift up to hip height and slowly control the return. Lift up to hip height and slowly control the return. And you're going to do that as many times as you can control, as long as there's no pain. And also you want to work up to doing about 30 repetitions. Now if you're up to 30 of these and they feel pretty easy, you can add resistance very easily by tying a band between the knees. And make sure that if there's unequal on both sides, that you try to keep them as even as possible. Don't progress one side just because you can do more without being able to progress the other one. I hope you enjoy these exercises, and I hope that your knee starts to feel better from doing them.